Hi guys, this is a quick impromptu video. I'm sure most of you haven't joined, but why I'm saying it's a quick impromptu video is I have my very last Proud Mary, which is the fragrance I was using here in Dubai. I carried this one for myself. This is the level at which it's at, and I realized that of people I had promised to mail this fragrance to, I thought I had two full bottles, but I'm only left with one. Now, why am I doing a live holding this bottle? I'm doing a live holding this bottle because I'm packing to go home. I should be home in the next 3 days or so, but I will not be having this particular bottle. I will have a couple of miniature samples that I, came with this end. This one is about to be picked up by Karim, a Karim driver arriving in the next 30 minutes, he said. Could be earlier because, the Karim service can be pretty fast. But when we booked it, it said the driver is arriving in... it said the driver is arriving in 30 minutes. So I am left with about 25 minutes before before this bottle goes. Guys, if you haven't purchased Proud Mary, I'm just here to say one or two things about it, especially to those who may have missed some of the previous videos. This is my creation. It's my nose to yours. I created this fragrance, I would say pretty much with just, I would say solo rather, with one person. This fragrance, guys, is not a fragrance that was made by a huge company, right? And hence the limited number of bottles, hence the pricing. We are a small company. Macedon Perfumes is a company I and my friend established, right, in 2024, which was last year, August. We established this company from scratch. We created everything here from scratch. Bottles, juice, traveling and all that, everything, in this, or rather, this is a result of a two women band actually. So with this fragrance, guys, as a fragrance reviewer who'd been on this platform for a very long time, I wasn't one of those that I'm not even going to say fortunate, because what happens in life is everything happens for a reason. I wasn't one of those that got a contract from a big company, in as much as I had been talking about Middle Eastern fragrances for years. Guys, if this bottle is taken, don't worry, I'm going to show you the other one. I'm just going to show you like the packaging of the other one, because I'll have that. But this particular bottle is going, okay, and I'll be left with nothing. So that's why I'm just holding it here to summarize everything here in Dubai. And let me show you my scenery, okay? This is the background. There is some construction going on, so if you can't hear me, I can always go inside. Now, what I was saying is, I wasn't one of those influencers that got a huge maybe offer to create something exclusively with a brand, in as much as I had been talking. Hi Emmanuel, thank you so much, Emmanuel the teacher, for joining the live. In as much as I was talking about Middle Eastern fragrances for about 6 going on 7 years now. So what happened was, one of the people that used to watch me on CeeChronicles, her name is Tamika, we ended up chatting, just as I have made numerous friends on YouTube. So we ended up chatting with Tamika. She's based in the US, and we then decided to create a fragrance where she was going to fund the fragrance and I did the creative direction and everything. And we decided not to stop there. We said, okay, let us establish a fragrance house as well, which is Macedon Perfumes. And all that, and what Macedon Perfumes stands for, or the vision for Macedon Perfumes, is to continue creating fragrances. However, this very first one is a limited release, my nose to yours, only 2,500 bottles of Proud Mary. were made and will ever be made. We're not bringing back this fragrance. They in the comment section, I did have a couple of other people asking if I could do a second one. We'll see about that, if I could do perhaps a second limited release. If I'm able to, that's great. If not, then we're going to go straight into the EDPs and stuff. We we are planning on having a few releases per year to allow our audience to actually enjoy the fragrance. Not that there's anything wrong with fragrance after fragrance, no, but I'm just saying for our audience, we would love to give our audience a break in between fragrance releases. Say for instance we release something for summer, the next fragrance that we would be planning to release will perhaps be something for fall, that sort of thing, because again, as I said, we are a small house. We went it alone, and if you're making a fragrance, especially of a huge fragrance house, there are a lot of advantages to that as opposed to how we did it. We have no regrets whatsoever, but it costs a lot in the sense that if you're going it alone, as a small house, you do not get the if there's noise, guys, let me know, I'll go inside. You do not have that leeway to negotiate because of your numbers. You do not have some of the privileges that huge companies will have. Let's say for instance a big company is making this and they're making, let's say, $250,000 of this. They can be cut some slack in terms of discount numbers and everything. But as I'm saying, we only made 2,500 of this, so there was no leeway in terms of discounts. Even the warehouse where the fragrance is being distributed from, no one was cutting us some slack. So as a result, this fragrance, because it's coming off a new brand, we're only starting. Remember I said we're going to do more, but this is a limited release, and because of that I said I'm not going to cut corners. We were already in, and I said I'm not going to cut corners in terms of quality, in terms of concentration, in terms of packaging, in terms of everything. So all those costs added up, for some people who may be wondering, oh, okay, you talk a lot about affordable fragrances and then you release your own fragrance and it's not so much on the affordable side. This fragrance, guys, is at the price that it's even going for. It's not something that I would say is a profitable venture for now, for Macedon, for everything we have done. However, as a fragrance enthusiast and somebody who really loves fragrances, who has also established a company, the plan long term is to offer options, where we're going to have different fragrances, EDPs, as I said, smaller bottles, and so on and so on. And as the numbers grow, obviously, we are also conscious of the fact that people are indeed trying to save money. So as we progress as a company and as our volumes grow and stuff like that, we will also perhaps have the leeway, to have a pricing that's pretty much on a midpoint. While 149 full price for Proud Mary, it's something that I would say is truly speaking not exorbitant based on what went into the fragrance, the packaging, the juice itself, the expertise. Guys, the number of times I had to sniff this very juice and then play around with it, go back and forth. The company they were up to here. The perfumer was up to here with me because I really, really wanted something that's top notch, and I'm so happy that is exactly what I got in Proud Mary. And if we are going to do a second limited release, that's still the goal. And the other ones, we are not looking at cutting corners. We're not looking at putting something that's substandard to the market. We would rather do less numbers, but know that we are presenting something that anyone who will purchase will be absolutely happy to own. They will attest to the quality, which is something that you get, in Proud Mary. So yeah, I have just made the impromptu live because the bottle, this particular one, is about to be taken downstairs by Maima to the Kareem driver, where she is going to give it to the Kareem driver, and it's going to be delivered. This particular one is going to be delivered to Adeswa Gift, and that will be it. I will not have a full bottle of Proud Mary until I get home. I also hope she will enjoy this fragrance. Now, for those who may be interested in purchasing the fragrance, you can actually purchase Proud Mary Extrait de Parfum 120 ml right here on YouTube. I have a YouTube store, so you can purchase it right here on YouTube. You can, hi Kathy. You can purchase it on TikTok. It's now available on TikTok. You can purchase it on Instagram, and you can purchase it directly off our website, www.macedonperfumes.com. You can purchase this fragrance. We are now at full price, but that was after 3 weeks. The first 10 to 14 days we were at pre-launch price of 25% off, and then we went to 15% off, and now with the remainder of the bottles that we have, we're selling them at full price. So yeah, that's about it when it comes to Proud Mary. It is a fragrance I am absolutely happy with having created. Sometimes you do something and I've heard some people saying, oh, I don't mean to put my to not boast, that's not the word, but I'm not getting the right word right now. But with this, I can certainly say I can pat myself in the back. This is a fragrance that the end product to me is exactly what I wanted it to be, and I am so happy with this fragrance, guys. So yeah, that's just about it when it comes to Proud Mary. Now on in as far as fragrance reviewing is concerned, I'm not stopping fragrance reviewing, guys. I'm going to continue reviewing fragrances. It has and will always be my passion to talk about fragrances. So we are not stopping fragrance reviews. I have a couple of fragrances that I got off Beauty World in Dubai, where I still am. I intend to bring you full reviews of those. We are still going to, be saying it like it is. That's what we're known for. If I like something, I'll tell you. If I don't, I don't. And yeah, basically that's what the plan is. And I think maybe the biker is trying to call her or something. Call her. Sorry, guys. The lady who's supposed to get this fragrance is calling me. So I hope the biker didn't understand instructions back to front, because maybe he went to her and he's asking her for this perfume. Call her. So let's find out what's going on, because she's really trying to call me.
Excuse me, guys. I'm gonna steal your star for one.
Oh, take this. Take this. Sorry, guys. The lady. Oh, take this. Take this. Sorry, guys. The lady who. But the Kareem guy is also coming. So how do we do that? Ask her to help you cancel the Kareem if it's possible. Ask her to if you can cancel the Kareem if it's possible. Sorry, guys. The perfume is gone. Okay, the perfume is gone. While I was talking about it, Gift has actually come to collect it, but we'd already paid Kareem for the fragrance to be delivered. So I don't know how that works. Yeah, guys, so I was saying the plan is to continue with fragrance reviewing. We're not stopping. I will be bringing you as many releases from the Middle East as I can, that I can get my hands on. That is the plan. And we're always going to keep it 100. And I will be keeping you posted, as far as developments are concerned when it comes to Macedon, the perfume house. We're still very, very, crawling. We're not even right there. We are crawling, guys. And oh, hi, Lady Sonny. Hi, 420 Buba. Hi, Kathy. Hi, thank you. Florence Mamisa. Thank you, Florence, for joining the live. I appreciate, guys. If it's very noisy, just let me know. I'm gonna go inside. I have no perfume anymore, but Anyway, if you were here at the beginning of the live, then you probably did see me holding the fragrance. Another thing is we have super thanks, super chat, super stickers, which you can utilize if you wish to support the work that I do here on YouTube. I think it's in the comment section, I'm not sure, but Maima did tell me that we are now activated for super thanks, super chat, super stickers. I have no idea how those work, but what I know is whatever it is that's paid is split between the creator and YouTube, and it's added to their earnings. So if you would like to support the channel that way, that's fine too, because we are definitely continuing reviewing. Right now, back to Proud Mary. I was saying Proud Mary is a fragrance that was born out of my passion for the love of fragrances. Proud Mary is a fragrance that I created. I went full on. If you know how I do my things, you will know that I can't do things like halfway. I'm not like that. If you saw me at Beauty World, you will see what I was doing there. I'm not, it's either I'm in or I'm not. So that's exactly what happened, guys, when it came to Proud Mary. Proud Mary is a fragrance that I had, I took my time. It was well thought. Everything about it was well thought. Nothing was rushed. We started making this fragrance in August last year. When I came for the very first Beauty World. August last year was the groundwork, the paperwork, the registration, the fine print. That's that was the birth of the company Macedon. And then when I came to the Middle East at Beauty World, for those who may want to know, at Beauty World, it's not only fragrances that you get to experience there. There is manufacturers. There is, let me go inside. I have a feeling it's very noisy here. Let me go inside. It's still a little bit messy inside, but it might be better. Okay, let me just sit there and let me switch off the telly, because I know when you are on a live and the telly is on, you can get a copyright strike for that. So let me switch off the telly. Okay, right, now we are settled. There is no noise anymore. Let me just sit by this corner. Your captain has collected the parcel and is on his way. This is weird. You know, the fragrance that I sent Maima to take downstairs is for Adesua Gift. And Adesua Gift on this live was calling me to say I'm downstairs. So I don't know how that's going to work out. We're giving it to the Uber or the Karim service. But the person the Karim service is supposed to take it to is right next to the person. Oh, it's weird. So anyway, guys, I was saying at Beauty World, there are a lot of contacts and connections that you can make there. This now I'm saying for other people that may have, an endeavor to create fragrances or to create beauty products or to create cosmetics and makeup and stuff. So August last year was when I started talking to Tamika, and then we established the company. After that, we waited until Beauty World 2024, and I made an appointment with a couple of perfumers, because at Beauty World you will get perfumers from across the world, right? Perfumers from Italy, perfumers from France, and also perfumers right from here, right in the Middle East. And what you do is you book an appointment with the perfumer. Of course, they charge you something for their time, and you can play around with ingredients. This is in Beauty World, right? When I say in Beauty World, you will meet the perfumer there, but of course you can then, work around these things outside Beauty World. So you meet a perfumer.
It wasn't Adesua, it was the Korean guy. So I don't know which number you gave me, but it was him.
But did you call Adesua?
No, I didn't. The number you told me to call was the Korean guy who was downstairs.
Yeah, but Adesua was calling you as well.
Are you sure?
I'm 100%. She said I am here. Okay, no, don't worry, it's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I'm still on a live, my mom. Yeah, so you meet the perfumers, and then you can of course describe what it is you want. It's not something that can be done right away. Remember, they have to create the compounds and stuff, and then after that, it doesn't also mean that you would work with the very perfumer that you met. Okay, you might meet 3 or 4 perfumers, but most of the perfumers who come to Beauty World, you already know their portfolio, right? Let's say, for instance, this year there was Mr. Roger Dove. So with Mr. Roger Dove, if you love the fragrances by Roger Dove and you feel okay, he is the perfumer that I'd love to to create my fragrance, you already know. Okay, so it's not like it's a guess per se, but that's just the beginning of things, and I'm just giving you the slowdown for you to understand how we came about making the perfume. So Beauty World 2024, we laid the groundwork. We had our we had our test runs and all the stuff, all the nice stuff, and Beauty World came and went. I stayed here for another almost 30 days, I'd say a month, then went back, and that the fragrance was nowhere near Norway, when I went back after Beauty World last year. But I had set the groundwork and everything in such a way that we had to wait for the holidays to be over. We had to ensure that factory production begins, especially for the bottle, because our bottle is customized. Can you just show? Can you give me a? Show. Give me the card. Our bottle is customized. So there were things like that, customization of the bottle. Initially, we wanted, oh, the card doesn't have the bottle. That's the card. Initially, we wanted, what you call this? Yeah, this one is for, I've forgotten this one is to be left downstairs, this particular one. I'm not going to open it, this one, but this is how Proud Mary is going to show up. Okay, this one is already taken. She was supposed to pick it up. No, I was supposed to mail it to her, sorry, 3 days ago, but I didn't manage to. So we have agreed that I'm going to leave it at the reception. This is how Proud Mary is going to show up like. It's a box in a box. So it's an outer sleeve, and then there's going to be an inner hard box, and then a slide out drawer, and the fragrance sits in there. So yeah, I was saying, there were things like getting the bottles done because they were personalized, and at the same time also playing around with variations of the composition, how we wanted it to be like. There were test runs like, leaving it in the blazing heat. Now I'm talking about the perfume itself. Blazing heat, freezing cold, airy weather, all the nice stuff, to make sure that it's exactly what we wanted it to be. That alone was a process that took time, right? And then end of 2024, that is when we started. I also wanted to make sure that the fragrance is fully macerated, so anyone who's going to get a bottle of Proud Mary is getting it fully macerated. The only thing to do after you get a bottle of Proud Mary is to pump out a couple of sprays, because as you know, shipping will very often disintegrate components of a fragrance. Shipping has a way of agitating fragrances. The longer the distance, the whatever, the rougher the handling, the whatever, so we don't have control of that. And in as much as any juice will be fully macerated, it doesn't matter whether it's Proud Mary or whatever, you would still have to pump out a couple of sprays. You will get what it's doing immediately, but for it to get to its full composition and best definition, you need to pump out a couple of sprays, leave it there, revisit it after maybe 3 days, 5 days, then that's basically it. And after that, it only gets better and better, because remember, the maceration of a fragrance is not like a one-off process. The longer you keep the fragrance, the better it becomes. So, in as much as I say it's fully macerated because it's been a year in the making, another year it's still going to get better and better and better. So that's basically what to expect with Proud Mary. And any support you guys can give whatsoever is fully appreciated. And by support, I mean watching, I mean commenting on the channel, I mean purchasing the fragrance, I mean just being there. I remember reading one comment that said, we hope when you get up there you won't forget us. I would never, never. I still single-handedly answer my comments. I single-handedly call the people who are around me. I am not there. And even if I get or will get there, I would never be the type of person that then becomes, if you know what I mean, because I'm just not cut like that. So any support, guys, would be greatly appreciated. If you support by purchasing the fragrance itself, that would be awesome as well. Because for those who started with me, especially from the beginning of the journey, you will know that I've been going it alone for years. Okay. And the timing for making this fragrance couldn't have been more perfect because I was there about to walk away from fragrance reviewing altogether. And it's not that you get into fragrance reviewing hoping to get sponsorship, or you get into fragrance reviewing hoping to get a brand deal. Not necessarily, but the demand that fragrance reviewing has on the reviewer becomes such that you cannot ignore that eventually it becomes some form of work. Okay, it's very taxing, and you unknowingly will go, let's say, on YouTube to start talking about fragrances because it's your hobby, you like fragrances, until you realize that you have built a community that's actually waiting on you to hear your opinions about whatever fragrance comes to the market or into the market or is produced at the time. So unknowingly, you find yourself by default employed. Okay. So this is why I'm saying it's not like when I went into fragrance reviewing, saying, oh, I wish I could get a brand deal. That was not even anywhere near me, but it was something that you go there and then you get the reception, an overwhelming reception, and a warmth, a kindness, a community that genuinely rallies behind you. And then you realize, no, I need to keep on doing this and doing this and doing this. So at some point, it does get to you that, it would be nice if, for instance, you were getting fragrances gifted to you. It would be nice if a brand would collaborate with you. It would be nice. That's kind of how it happens when it comes to fragrance reviewing. I'm not sure about some of the reviewers who be coming into the scene now, but most of the reviewers who started a long time ago will probably say the same thing. I remember during the journey, having people ask me, would you like to create a fragrance? And I would say no. That's the first thing I would say. I'd say, oh, no, I wouldn't want to create a fragrance. I wouldn't. That's kind of like what was my, uniform answer, until it got to a point where, after trying out a lot of fragrances, you have something at the back of your head that if I were to create a fragrance, I would do mine like this, I would do mine like this, I would do mine like this. And that's how the idea is cultivated until it turns to reality. So that's exactly what happened in my case. I never went onto YouTube or any platform with the hope that, oh, I'm going to talk about this brand for so long that, they must miraculously reach out to me. And no. And in my case, there wasn't anything like that. No offers, no nothing. In fact, it was from one of the members of the community chatting. We would talk sometimes about, oh, have you tried this fragrance? What do you think about it? Is this long lasting to you? Oh, I got this. It was like this, like that. That's how, my relationship with Tamika, started. And then it got to a point where I remember last year, as I said, in August, I was so tired, and I was sharing that, this is so draining, especially if, you're purchasing the fragrances yourself, and there's a misconception that maybe you're getting paid. Why are you showing up every day to talk about something if you're not getting anything out of it, and all that and all that? And around about that time, coincidentally, that's when we started talking about beauty world. And it just came up, as in, I said to the CeeChronicles family, I would love to leave YouTube. However, it would be nice to just see the faces behind the fragrances I was talking about. And somebody told me that there is a fair called Beauty World. So if I went there, maybe I'll get to see these, people in person. It was just something that I wanted to actualize. It was a self-actualization thing. And coincidentally, Beauty World happens right after my birthday, because my birthday is on the 24th, and Beauty World is always the last 3 days of the month. So I said, I would love, to have that as an exit plan. I did YouTube for 6 years, then went to Dubai, saw all these people, and called it a day. That's how the whole thing was, that's how Proud Mary was born, actually. And after communicating with the CeeChronicles family, a lot of people said, oh, yeah, you're right, C. Oh, we can't believe you've been doing this, for years. And some even said, oh, we thought you work for these. And I said, no, I don't work for them. What happened with the Middle Eastern fragrances was, in my country, not anymore, but in my country around 2018, somewhere thereabout, some of these fragrances started filtering in, right? And it was mostly the packaging that caught my eye. I actually ordered 2 off Facebook. This is how my Middle Eastern fragrance journey started. I didn't know about Middle Eastern fragrances myself. So 2018, I see this advert on Facebook. I remember it was Oud Mood and not Kaid Alpha, Kaid, okay. The one in a round bottle, not Kaid Alpha. Ordered those of one guy that had advertised them on Facebook. And I, in my heart, thought, hand on heart, he had made a mistake, because he advertised each for $50 each, right? Now, when I saw that advert, I saw the packaging, I saw the bottles on Facebook. Could I have a tissue just to wipe my ear? Or put the aircon on, actually. That would be better. So I ordered 2. It was $100, for the Oud Mood by Latafa and the Kaid by Latafa. And the guy said, oh, I'm going to deliver, don't worry. So we made an appointment. He delivered the fragrances to me in town, and they were $50 each. I remember opening that package, the Oud Mood package, and even the Kaid Al Fasan package. And I was like, this is very nice, because sometimes what happens is, when you get fragrances, especially in my country, for that price range, you're not expecting good quality, you're not expecting longevity, you're just expecting, a fragrance that's just going to add to already what you have, because that's how fragrances are expensive in my country. So when I got those $50 each, $100 for the 2, I sprayed them. I was so happy with them. And it was sort of like, exploring something that was super new, because those have that niche vibe. Those have the oud, they have the woods, okay, and nothing in Oud Mood is in moderation. So I thought, not only is this fragrance $50, which to me was very affordable, but it also lasted a couple of days. So I was like, okay, I don't know these companies. I Googled, okay, because it said Latafa Oud Mood. Googled There was nothing. I couldn't find anything about Latafa Oud Mood. I couldn't find anything about Latafa Kayed, And then I called the same Facebook guy to say, do you have any more fragrances? And he said, oh, of course I have. And he said, I have, I think he sold me, no, Ragba I actually imported. Ragba I had to import from the UK. He sold me an Astaf or something, and that one was $40. I said, no, this is cheaper. And I'm opening the Astaf one, it's $40, and I'm like, what's the catch? These fragrances are really good and yet very affordable. Now, what did I know? These fragrances were even cheaper than what this guy was selling me the fragrances for, because that is what I later discovered in my country at the time. Now, anyway, back to, me ordering these fragrances. I remember I ended up with fragrances worth $250 from the Middle Eastern fragrance houses, and $250 buying fragrances in South Africa is money that you could spend on one or two fragrances, and not even niche. Okay, I'm talking about the La Via Belle. Maybe you could get a La Via Belle, and then you could throw an Ariana Grande there. That's 250 gone. Okay. Or you could get a Jean Paul Gaultier and then a smaller one of the La Via Belle. You get two of the 250 because they're all over $100. So getting 4 fragrances, and I think maybe he might have even thrown a freebie for $200 or 200 some dollars, and with that quality, to me was like, wow. And then I would go to YouTube to try and look for this company, especially Latafa, and there was nothing really. The one I kept seeing was Ad Al Zafran, the 24-hour one, the one that was cloning Tom Ford. And then one day I came across a video of Rakba, and I was like, oh, okay, so this house is not entirely, new, like as in it's not just in my country. There's one person who's speaking about Latafa, but they're talking about Rakba. Okay, so I then said to myself, okay, how do I get this fragrances? I remember Googling. I went on Google and I found a company called, I can't remember what the company was, and there was somebody who was coming from the UK. So I ordered Ad Al Zafran's 24 hours and I ordered Ragba, right? Now, from me not having any fragrance from the Middle East, I found myself with 6 or 7 fragrances within a few weeks, okay? Now, remember I said I would look up this company. There was no website at the time, or at least I couldn't find it. And the information that you would find online would be in Arabic, if at all you do. So there was nothing. And then I, through looking for the house of Latafa and some of the Middle Eastern houses on YouTube, because I had also created my account then, you then get recommendations of fragrance reviews. So I would, it was new to me as well to discover that people would actually sit down and talk about a fragrance. Okay, so people like Jeremy were always popping up, because Jeremy is a pioneer when it comes to fragrance reviews. Jeremy, and there were people like I like him a lot. He's from Bangladesh. Joy Amin. Okay. So I thought, okay, this was then after COVID. I thought, let me just do fragrance review the fragrance I have, right? So I set up my camera and then I started talking about, I can't remember whether it was Chanel number 5 or it was Haute Couture by Givenchy. I can't remember which was which, but those were the ones that I really wanted to tell people about, because I really loved those two designer, not Chanel number 5. It was Chanel Chance or something. But there was Haute Couture there. Oh yeah, and then there was Marc, what's that one? Marc Jacobs, is it? No, not Decadence. I can't remember, but it's Michael Kors by Michael Kors. Okay, so I set up my camera and I did those reviews. But while I was sit there doing those reviews, I thought, let me take three of these unknown fragrances and just tell people about them. So I made 3 or 4 videos in one day. There was one which had 3 or 4 Middle Eastern fragrances at the same time. And then there was the haute couture, and then there was Michael Kors by Michael Kors, right? So what did I do? Because when you start YouTube, you really don't have a strategy. You will post even all of the videos on the same day. So I think I either posted all of them on the same day, or I posted them one day after the other. But the first one that I uploaded was the Middle Eastern one. Okay. And when I say the first one that I uploaded, when you are posting on YouTube numerous videos at the same time, it depends on the speed. It depends on which one's going to go first. But I remember by default, the Middle Eastern one went first. And then the second one was the non-Middle Eastern one, and the third one, right? And I stopped there. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I kind of like my son says he's going to, yes, it's fine, Brendan. Okay, so the first one that went was the Middle Eastern one, and then the other two, which were the popular ones, right? Now, how then did I get into Middle Eastern fragrance reviewing, guys? Everything was sort of like just aligning the way it should. Remember, I said I saw these fragrances, the Latafa fragrances, on Facebook. I didn't know nothing about them. The one thing that made me buy them was the pricing, because for $50 in South Africa, you would get yourself Ariana Grande fragrances, you would get yourself maybe Kylie Jenner, the celebrity fragrances, Beyonce, nothing, nothing really like in the designer range. So getting these fragrances for $50 a piece, and the formula was fantastic. So that's first how I got into purchasing Middle Eastern fragrances without even knowing what I was buying. Then the quality impressed me. Then I thought, okay, while I was searching and searching, I couldn't find anything about these houses, but I kept on finding other fragrance reviews, from Jeremy and all the other guys that had been there before me. And I watched what they were doing. I saw the concept and everything, and I thought, okay, let me do these fragrances. So I sat and I recorded a video. I remember it was Maima who actually held the camera for me. She was lying on the bed, okay, stomach down, and she was holding the camera like this for me. We didn't know anything about ring lights and whatever. So did the 3 videos, because recording like that is not something that you want to do every often. You want to, when you're ready to do it, to record, you want to record 4, 5, and then you go and about your business. So we had our 3 videos ready. We posted them all at the same time. The Middle Eastern one went first, and then the second one was the designer one, which was either Michael Kors or the Givenchy. And that was it. And then I remember thinking to myself, oh, I've done this for now. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. So because YouTube is hard, right? So did that, left it at that. And then came the following week where I was ready to record more videos to post, right? And when I say YouTube is hard, I mean in the sense that you don't grow as fast on YouTube as you do on other platforms. It's very hard to be discovered on YouTube. So I had just sown a seed and left it at that. So next week came, planted my camera again, had my fragrances, and started recording. And I think the next week I did 4, if I'm not mistaken. 4 videos at the same time, and then pushed them all at the same time. And this was me minding my own business. At some point, I think it was a month later, when YouTube sent me a congratulatory message saying, congratulations, you've hit your first 100 subscribers. And I was like, 100 subscribers? That's a lot, Now I had a vision. Now I knew why I had to record. Remember, I just started recording. But now I had purpose. People were watching. So with my 100 subscriber badge right there, in as much as I didn't get, I just got a congratulatory message from YouTube. I was good to go. I said, I'm going to post as much as I can. I'm going to keep looking for that guy on Facebook who sells these little note brands, because at least those will give me something to talk about like consistently, as opposed to the designer ones that I had, because my collection I think was limited at the time to maybe 30 or 40. It wasn't that big. So I had the guy who was going to supply me the Middle Eastern fragrances number on speed dial, and then the channel had gone into 100 subscribers, and then of course I was going to mix it up with the non-Middle Eastern fragrances. So we kept on going and kept on going. I think when I was about on video 12 or but under 15, it could have been Maima or my son who said, do you know that your first video now has over 2,000 views? And I was like, no, no. Because you know what? I wasn't that big on YouTube, as in even checking the analytics and whatever. I'll just post and let it slide, post and, go about my business. So one of my kids, either Maima or my son, Brandon, said, your very first video is now on 2,500. Guys, YouTube is hard. And when somebody tells you that, it's like you won the jackpot. Okay. So I went back. I asked my son how he had seen that, because as I said, either my son or Maima, I didn't know how, you check those things. And he just said, no, look at this and look at this. And there was this video at 2,500, and I was looking at the other videos. I was like, well, that one's still under 100. That one is about 105. That one, the other ones. And then again, somewhere there was another spike, and it was these fragrances that I too didn't know. Okay. So somehow I thought, okay, instead of focusing my energy on talking about these fragrances that maybe everybody else is talking about, why don't I perhaps, add more of these Middle Eastern brands and keep talking about them? Guys, before I knew it, I can't even remember when I got on 1,000 subscribers, but it was super fast. It was like 100, 300, 500, 1,000, and I was going. And each video had a lot of views, as long as I was talking about these brands that I and my subscribers didn't know anything about. And the frustration, because every time I'd check online, there was nothing, nothing, no pictures. At the time, you'd be lucky to get a picture. So I have got a little bedroom fridge. I'll put my bottle there, put a little bond paper at the back, a white one, snap a picture, and then, post that as a thumbnail, because I couldn't find that information. But anyway, I kept on going. And then as I kept on ordering these fragrances from that guy from Facebook, remember I told you there was that guy from Facebook who sold me Oud Mood and Kaid for $50 per piece, which is 100, and then sold me 2 Astafs for 40 per piece, which was 80. I then said, look, could you just tell me what you have, and then I'll just buy whatever it is I can buy. And remember, there was a person coming from the UK that had also asked to bring some fragrances, these non-popular fragrances. So anyway, that was me. I was set. I had these fragrances, and I kept on adding to the fragrances. Now, during that journey, which was 2 months into fragrance reviewing, I started noticing similarities between some of the fragrances that I was getting from this Facebook supplier to some of the fragrances I'd actually used myself. Believe it or not, I didn't know anything about dupes. Weird as it sounds, okay? I didn't know anything about dupes, especially presented that way, where this is like a company going all out. The name is different. Everything is different. I mean, these brands some of them hadn't started doing things the way they do it, where they trick a couple of, words, or the presentation kind of reminds you of. It wasn't like that. You kind of had to decode, like Oud Mood in itself has been likened a lot to Lancôme Oud Bouquet. But if you look at the two, there's nothing to even suggest that this is drawing inspiration of this. With the other one, the Sheikh Al Shayuk, they kind of, made a bottle somewhere thereabout, where you look at that and you see the glitter on the Lancôme one, and you see the Sheikh, and you're like, maybe. But the ones I was getting, there was nothing, to suggest that, oh, this could be inspired by this could be inspired. It wasn't like that. However, in me collecting these fragrances, I started seeing similarities, like, why is it that this one reminds me of The very first one was Lancome Hypnose. Okay. I was like, no, I didn't know about. Oh yes, I didn't know about dupes either, Kathy. Yeah, so there was one this guy delivered to me, and it smelled a lot like Lancome Hypnose, and I was like, I could swear I've used this fragrance before, but to me it didn't even ring a bell that, oh, it's a dupe. It was like, oh, it's so close. And then got another one that smelled a lot like Paco Rabanne's Lady Million, and I was like, and I actually had Lady Million in my hey Dees Tandy, hey C's Tandy, how I'm fine, my Tawana, how are you? So I had Lady Million from Paco Rabanne in my collection, and then I got this stuff, whether it was stuff or rave, and it was, guys, it was so similar, it was unbelievable. But remember, as I said, I didn't know it was dupes. If you go to my very first videos, you will know that I didn't even know they were dupes. Okay, yes, I noticed it's a typo error, my Tawana, no problem. I didn't know they were dupes. I later had to change my thumbnails to this clone, this dupe later. Otherwise, as I was reviewing those fragrances, I didn't know they were dupes. I could swear some of them reminded me of something, but the word dupe was not something that even came to mind, because these companies were presenting their fragrances in their own bottles and you would have no idea. Now, when it started to actually make a lot of sense to me that no, this can't be a coincidence, was when I bought this Latafa called, I can't remember, but it's exactly the same as Pure Poison to the T. And Pure Poison is a fragrance that I actually had. Okay. So it was exactly like Pure Poison to the T. And I was like, what's going on here? Are these fragrances supposed to be like some of the other fragrances, but affordable? Remember, there was still that affordable common denominator there, where to me $50 was still affordable. Please check if gift has received, because the captain says has delivered.
Yeah, he called me. He was asking for the apartment.
Okay.
For the address, and I gave it to him. So I'm not sure. I think now I have to check with that store.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so yeah, that is, I don't know what this guy is saying, this James Marshall, always victims. I think he would very much love to be taken off my life, I guess. Then I got that one that smelled a lot like Pure Poison. If it's not Pure Poison, it's actually Poison Girl. It was a fragrance that I actually had, within my collection. Smelled the two and I couldn't tell them apart. Yes, there were differences here and there, but the differences were such that if you walked past, no one would know, if you're wearing one or the other. Then that's kind of how I started realizing, oh, okay, these fragrances could be borrowing from. Nobody wants to live in a black neighborhood. No, leave them, let them be. I think they're just assuming I'm talking about something else. I'm not talking about anything. You haven't washed your hair in 10 days. Yes, I haven't washed my hair in 10 days. And what are you going to do about it? You're going to wash it for me? No, don't worry. Let them be. They're miserable.
Don't add myself as
No, they'll always be miserable people, Maima. Let him wash off his misery. It's psychology. I'm a psychologist, by the way. So vent out. Say it all. It will help you at the end of the day. So anyway, that's how I got the sort of like an idea that, oh, this could be an inspiration of that. This could be an inspiration of that. This could be an inspiration of that, And then back to the guy who was giving me, selling me these fragrances off YouTube, off Facebook. One day, and this is the weirdest thing of all. My son went to town one day. He was on a completely different errand altogether. And he calls me from town. He says, Mom, I'm in front of this shop and I think they're selling some of these fragrances that you buy from that guy. And I was like, no, take a picture. But be careful, because it was a small shop, and some of those shops sometimes do not want you to take pictures. So I said, no, take a picture. Take pictures discreetly and send them to me so that I see, right? So I asked my son to take pictures. He sent me the pictures, and there were the fragrances, right? There was Oud Mood, there was Elixir, there was Reina, Oud Mood, what? Renaissance, I think, and a lot of other ones. I think there was also Mask Salama, and my son said, yeah, but they're going for. Magnifique, don't be a little girl. Freedom of speech gives us right to say whatever. Of course, James. No, but don't go there when it comes to my daughter, please. I mean, honestly, I told you, if you have your issues, you can vent. I'm not affected by that at all. I'm a psychologist by profession. I do fragrances because of the love of fragrances. Okay, so I get you. If you wanna kick off, you can kick off, but not my daughter. Otherwise, yes, I will take you off the live. I will take you off the live. I'm telling you. So anyway, my son says, but they're going for $15. I'm like, no way. There's no way. He says, Mom, they are going for $15. Okay. And he took the picture, okay, where it says $15. And I think he had enough money to bring 3 or 4. And he came with these 3 or 4. Now, here's me thinking, no, those ones that he's seen maybe are knockoffs of the ones that the Facebook person was selling me. Because why would the Facebook guy sell me Oud Mood for $50 when it can be found in a random shop for $15, right? So my son came home with some of these fragrances, and I remember, I think I had even purchased a Kaid, a second one, within within the ones I sent my son to buy. So he came with that, and I was like, no, this is exactly the same. I ended up gifting the Kaid to somebody else. Anyway, then it just dawned on me, okay, this person has been making a profit of me, but we live and learn. I'm going to start buying these fragrances on my own. So these fragrances, guys, filtered in my country, they were dirt cheap. And remember, I started, the first 2 were 50 each, and then 40. Now I've discovered them for 15. I was like, bring the whole shop home. I was like, can I talk to the store owner? I was like, could you get me different ones? I was like, when do I come and sit it out here for your next stock? So that's how I got into Middle Eastern perfume reviewing, and it became something that, as I told you, because of the the traction that I was getting when I was talking about Middle Eastern fragrances versus the non-Middle Eastern fragrances. I don't think there was anything really, I don't think it was something that the algorithm did, perhaps, that thing where you get more views when you talk about this and then less views. I think it just so happened that the reviewers for all these other known brands, there were so many off. So perhaps YouTube market for that was saturated, and there I was talking about something completely new, and that's how I rose and became the reviewer that talks about Middle Eastern fragrances. That's the story from then to where we are today. And through this whole resilience and going on and on and on, we're here today sitting, celebrating Proud Mary, something that was born off YouTube. Danielle says, which ones were the first fragrances that wowed you? Okay. The first fragrances from the Middle East that wowed me was, of course, that Oud Mood, Adal Zafran, 24 Hours, Rakba. What am I even saying? Kaid. The only thing that ended up, becoming a little bit of a dar was when I would purchase a fragrance, right? very eagerly so, because we couldn't test this fragrance. Remember, I had discovered where they were selling them for $15, so you wouldn't get testers. So the one thing that ended up becoming sort of like a dar for me was when I would find almost like the same juice but branded by a different company. That's the only thing, that kind of really disappointed me there. But the first ones that I got, the Oud Mood was a wow, the Rakba was a wow, the Adal Zafran at Oud 24 Hours was a wow. Until, of course, we started having sort of like flankers of the same way. If you use Oud Mood and then you use Renaissance and then you use Sheikh Al Shayuk, and then it kind of feels like, you're just playing around with the same juice but with a different touch of whatever, where Sheikh Al Shayuk is more caramelized, but it's still to the nose, can be easily perceived as, as oud mood. But yeah, the first initial ones were great, especially from the house of Latafa, and that is because Latafa was one of the brands that came into South Africa, and then Paris Corner. And with Paris Corner, my very first one was the Mon, it's a clone for Lancome, the black one that's like a diamond. I remember having spent some money on the Lancome one and then bought the Paris Corner one, and I was like, oh my God, this is so good. So it was Latafa, then we went to Paris Corner, and Paris Corner was sort of like the ones that were a little bit obvious in terms of, what they were going for. I also loved Paris Corner because they were not pushing the oud, which is something we were getting more from Latafa, than from Paris Corner. So first love was Latafa, then Paris Corner, and then I discovered Adal Zafran, and some people told me, no, it's still Latafa, and I was like, oh yeah. So that was the journey, guys, from where we started up to today. And today, through the resilience, the patience, the endurance, I'm happy to say we are at a point where we created our own fragrance, started our own company, okay? Because for me, it's not what destiny had for me, where the brands I would talk about would be the ones that see me, move me to the next level. It's not what was maybe in the stars for me, but it's still all good news in the sense that somebody from the CeeChronicles family saw my potential, and then we teamed up to do this fragrance. And if you missed what I was saying at the beginning, my very last bottle, the one I was using, is gone. If you missed what I was saying in the beginning, I'm just left with this one, but this one was meant to be delivered 2 days ago. So this one's also on its way, and then I won't have a single bottle of Proud Mary until I go home. If you listen to what I was saying in the beginning, I was saying because Macedon Perfumes, the company that we later founded, myself and Tamika, is a new company, small company. Everything we've been doing has been funded by Tamika, and I have been the creative, the creative director of the brand. Everything has been done in small numbers. So for some people that were questioning, oh, then why create a fragrance that's going to cost over $100 when you talk only of fragrances, or mostly of fragrances that are very affordable? Guys, we went it alone. These big companies have got the capacity. They have the volume we didn't have, and we still don't. We only made 2,500 of these. Okay, so when you're making only 2,500 fragrances, some companies will say, oh, those are the numbers that we do for random companies or even weddings. You know what I mean? So you really don't get the, like the leeway to negotiate for anything. Storage to shipping to everything was just, up there. So and the juice in itself, that was the one thing I said, I'm not going to cut corners on the juice. I'm not cutting corners on the packaging. I'm not cutting corners on everything. Has to be, the oil concentration. If you spray Proud Mary, you'll tell me yourself, this fragrance oil concentration And I didn't want anything screechy. I didn't want anything roughed up. I was prepared to wait for over a year, if it took over a year or plus, to get something that I felt was perfect to the nose. So yeah, that's been my journey on YouTube so far. And I just thought to do a quick video, guys, to explain, because maybe I have never, well, I can't remember giving you an actual live video. Did you enjoy? Yes, I did. Poster child, absolutely, I did enjoy Beauty World. It was amazing. I did. It's always fun, but it's very exhausting, extremely exhausting. Even up to now, I think I owe myself a week's sleep. I'm still in Dubai, but I owe myself a week's sleep because it's too much. Did you know about Maceration back then? Did it surprise you after a while that Oh yeah, I did not know about Maceration when I was just collecting fragrances just for myself. Remember, as I said, I used to purchase the well-known brands, okay, which in most cases, not all, but in most, are sold to us. You buy a fragrance from, I'm just gonna throw House of Oud as a brand. There's really no need to macerate the fragrance per se, although each time a fragrance sits on your counter, it continues to macerate, right? So I didn't know about that part until I visited my rug bar. I think my rug bar was now 4 months old. It had gotten a little darker. It was presenting a little better. And then I remember reading about it, about this fragrance is better now. So that's how I then got to know more about maceration. But remember also, at the time, even the Middle Eastern fragrance houses were not giving us fragrances, like in a hurry, the way they're doing it now. So some of their fragrances indeed did not need maceration, okay? But with the fragrances that we're getting, the influx of them, truly speaking, you would want your fragrance to sit a little for you to enjoy it better. Don't judge a Middle Eastern fragrance, especially the ones from these houses that we talk about a lot. Don't judge it just based on first, second, third impressions, because it will surprise you. It'll get more defined, it'll get richer, it'll get spicier, and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I didn't know about maceration. I was learning as I was going. Now I know about it. And yeah, especially with fragrances from the Middle East, it's definitely something that's worth sitting out, because you get the best of whatever the juice is doing after a couple of months. MC says, hi C, do you still have any bottles of Proud Mary available? Yes, I do. I do have bottles of Proud Mary available for purchase. What I did when I came to Dubai, I came with 24. I can't remember. No. But I came with a sizable number, and I gave a couple of influencers, I gave friends, I gave Ajwa. So the one bottle that I had to let go of, the last one, was my own. This one is gone. It was meant to be collected 2 days ago. So I cannot open this one. This one is already gone. It was supposed to be collected 2 days ago. I told them that they need to collect it as soon as possible, because I'm about to leave and they have given me their word that absolutely they're going to come and collect it. So I personally, on me, do not have Proud Mary right here, but I do have at home. You can purchase Proud Mary off our website, www.macedonperfumes.com. You can purchase it directly here on YouTube, on my YouTube store. You can purchase it on my TikTok store. We now have a TikTok store, and you can purchase it on the Instagram store. Lotus says, is this available in India? Not yet, but here's the thing, guys. We are working on international shipping. For us to get licensed to ship hazardous material internationally, my partner had to take a hazmat course, right? Which she has finished. After you take the hazmat course, which basically tells you how to package hazardous material, and you get certification for that, then you can ship internationally. She passed that. So now we're just waiting for step number two or step number three that's going to make us, be able to ship these fragrances worldwide, because that also has been kind of like a setback for us not being able to ship internationally. We thought it was going to be a fast one, but it's not. We thought the warehouse was going to do that, but unfortunately they're not. So the owner of the product has to undergo a hazmat course, okay, and then after that you get some certification or authorization. I don't know, guys, I've been so busy, but my partner Tamika has she's done that, and she's just waiting for the thumbs up to start doing that. And I met to start posting internationally. I met a couple of beauty world that purchased Proud Mary for their store in the UK, and they said, oh, we have purchased it, because I also had samples. Remember, I was giving out samples. So I was giving out samples, and they said, oh, that's nice, because ours is still in customs. But now that you've given us a sample, that's even perfect. At least we know what we bought. And I was like, how did you buy it? Because I have a lot of people in the UK that are saying, how far with the shipping? And they said, no, we use, they actually have a shop. They said we use my USA. So they said, we buy our fragrances from the US, we direct them to My USA, and then My USA forwards them to us in the UK. So if it's an option, it's an option. But us as Macedon are also working flat out, guys, to make sure that there is international shipping. Remember, I said we're not stopping only at Proud Mary. We want to do more fragrances. So because of that, we need to make sure that we have shipping under lock and key in many other countries other than just the US. So yeah, that's it. So in terms of where you can purchase directly on TikTok. We opened our TikTok shop this past week. What is it, Monday today? Yeah, TikTok shop is now open. Instagram shop is now open, or has been open from day one, actually. And then YouTube, you can purchase off YouTube, and you can also purchase directly off the website. We can also purchase off Amazon, if I'm not mistaken, purchase off Amazon as well, because Proud Mary is listed off Amazon. I'm not sure whether the checkout of Amazon will give you international shipping. I'm not sure, guys, because I've been all over the place running like a headless chicken. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's it, guys. Thank you so much.
Can I have this?
You're gonna buy?
You don't want?
No, I will want my food. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the live. Maima is complaining here. She's hungry, and I'd actually forgotten. The phone that I'm using is the one that has the Kareem app. So she needs to order some food for herself. And I'm also hungry as well. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the live. Remember to hit the like and share button. Also subscribe if you're not subscribed. It's all live. I have a lot of content that I'm going to share with you from Beauty World. And yeah, I do hope I have given as much information as I can about our product, Proud Mary. It's not of a huge company. It's just me and my partner. We just, we pulled this one off, and this is the beginning. To everybody who has purchased this fragrance, we appreciate. We don't take that for granted. To everybody who might not even purchase this fragrance but continue to watch my content, continue to support, I appreciate, guys. I don't take that for granted, because you guys could be doing something, but you had taken your time, to support. I'm on this live. We've had a little over 100 people. It's not. It's people taking their time, to say, oh, we're going to listen to this person. So I appreciate that from the depth of my soul. If you would like to support the channel, you can go ahead and do so. We have a super thanks button, super sticker, super chat. I don't know what those are, but we do have them now activated on the channel. So if you want to support the channel, that will be appreciated as well. Why? Because we continue and will continue to give you fragrance reviews. I will continue to bring you the latest finds. I will continue to give you my honest opinion opinion. I will continue to clue you up if there's something that I need you to check out, that sort of thing. So we're not stopping, guys. This is actually now just the beginning. Okay, this is just the beginning, because now it's the direction is there. Okay, Lotus, you are always in my prayers, and I'm worried about your health. Oh, thank you so much. I had a lot of people ask me that. Bought your perfume and it is amazing. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you. I'm glad you are enjoying. You can screenshot that, Mimi. I'm glad you are enjoying Proud Mary. Oh yes, thank you so much. I had a lot of people ask me about that at Beauty World, but if you were here at the beginning of the live, I said that's just how I do things. I'm either in or I'm out. I am just one of those people that even don't know when to stop. I will work and work and work and work, but no, so far so good. I'm fine. I have gotten 2-3 days rest after Beauty World. We're going home and I should be well rested after that. I have a lot of content which just needs editing and posting out, so that's also going to give me time to relax a bit. Thank you so much, everybody. Lady Sonny, love you so much. I'm going to reply to you directly. I saw your message and I forgot to reply. Voice of Show Brown, hi, I hope you're doing well. Really enjoy you. Thank you so much. Voices by Show Brown. Thank you. Do you have a YouTube channel? If you do, if anyone here has got a YouTube channel, just let me know, then I will certainly subscribe back, because I know the struggle. So if you have a YouTube channel, just drop it there. Even after the live, if you just go in the comment section and say I've got a YouTube channel, I'm certainly gonna rush there. I have 2 channels actually, well 3 if we put Mimas as well, so we'll subscribe. Okay, my 2 channels, Unscripted, Talking Sense, and Mima. We're gonna support your channel. Love you guys. Thank you so much for sticking around. It's been 75 minutes. I'll talk to you in the next one. Romance Riviera, I have Patchouli. Romance Reverie. Which one was Romance? Oh no. Romance Reverie, yes, has Patchouli, but it's nice. It's a nicely done, crisp, fruity fragrance. Is it the same? I think it's in the same vein as Early Anniversary, if I'm not mistaken. Early Anniversary by Zerjov. Is it the one? Yeah, I know you don't like dirty patchouli. No, Romance Reverie. Can you show me a picture of it so that I can remember? No, show me the close-up of the bottle. Oh, no, that one's nice. Show me the note pyramid. Let's see. Does it have, she's asking about, I think I reviewed it before. No, it doesn't have like a lot. Yes, pink bottle. Yeah, that is the Early Anniversary. Beautiful fragrance. If you like fragrances like Felicity. No, not Felicity. Fusion, Lychee, but it's better than Kiali Lychee, way better than Kiali Sparkling Lychee, way better, because it's more closer to Zerjov Early Anniversary, which is one of those absolutely gorgeous. Oh, Christine, thank you so much. Christine Mary says good morning. Scent of the day is Proud Mary. Thank you so much for supporting. Thank you so much for supporting by purchasing a bottle of Proud Mary. Thank you so much. I appreciate. Christine, I was about to leave the live and I'm about, she says, and Violet. It's not, no. It's not a powdery, violety, off-putting fragrance. If you love yum, is it yum lychee? I can't. Kiali Sparkling Lychee, okay, but a little bit denser, then you're going to love Romance Reverie. Yes, it does have violet, but it's not an off-putting violet. I also have issues with the note of violet, where sometimes it can push a fragrance too powdery. It's not like that. It's a beautiful, crisp, summery, sweet, fizzy, effervescent, rosy, peony-like scent, that's fruity as well. So it's absolutely gorgeous. It does have, I think, jasmine, but jasmine is not like doing too much. So that's what I can say. I would certainly say purchase that. If you're not 100% sure and you're able to get yourself a decant, you can get yourself a decant off Hygicent. It will save you a lot of money, or any other decant selling company. All right, guys, love you so much. I'm going to end the live. Oh, Lotus, yeah, buy it, and I'll wait to hear. I'll wait I'll wait for your feedback as to whether you like it or not. But I think you might like it. If you like fruity, floral scents, you're going to like it. Oh, it's not available as a decant. Oh, I'm not sure then. I'm not sure. I'm sorry about that. But if you can buy it full bottle, then, it's a nice enough fragrance. I'm pretty sure you will love it. All right, guys, have a nice day. Love you so much. Love you so much. I will see you in the next live. Bye for now. Can you end it for me?